Welcome to the cooler clean method. The cooler clean method is a cleaning in place method for water coolers, which has been tried and tested in practice in the past 10 years. Here we see Ben carrying out a cleaning in place according to the cooler clean method. He first comes up with his rolling workshop, places the blue canvas on the floor, takes out the water guard, which he sprays with Cooler Clean spray. Cooler Clean spray is the product for the outside contact surfaces, which is put on the water cooler with the bottle holder here. Now Ben starts the disinfection part of the sanitization, for which he puts on his blue gloves, food handling latex gloves. And he takes out the Cooler Clean rinse. Cooler Clean rinse is meant for the hygienic cleaning of the reservoir and the pipes inside the water cooler. In the convenient squeeze and measure bottle, Ben applies 25 milliliters to the water cooler, to the reservoir. Taking out the baffle, which is cleaned thoroughly with a blue brush, the same way as the reservoir, which Ben does to remove any biofilm that might be there, and which allows the product to better perform its activities. The blue brush is used because if you lose a hair on the blue brush, you actually will see it, which will prevent you a return visit because of a leaking cooler. The pipe brush is used on the inside of the bevel. Now Ben takes out the blue tank, which is used to flush out the water of the reservoir. Now he uses it to take out a little bit of each tap, which means that the product, the Cooler Clean rinse, is also in the pipes to allow a 5-minute contact time. Using a paper towel, Ben dries the water guard before placing it back on the water cooler, and also gives it a few squirts with the Cooler Clean spray for a lasting effect. Cooler Clean is a tasteless and odorless product, which means that it can be used on food equipment. It is also non-toxic, which makes it very suited for use on water coolers. Ben takes out the Cooler Clean sponge, which is a sponge that does not contain any soap or any chemicals, but which is very suited to clean the outside of the water cooler because it's an extremely good dirt absorber. The material it's made of is melamine, and it is really proven to be a time saver in the field because it prevents you from having to apply soap to the water cooler, which later on needs to be removed. Cleaning also the area around the taps is very important because that is the part where the user will most definitely have their hands. Cooler Clean has undergone extensive testing by leading European test institutes and is registered as a disinfectant. Cooler Clean has furthermore been subjected to a rigorous trial by Michael Hurst of Watermark Consultancy. You can find this trial on www.coolerclean.com. Ben now uses the paper towel to dry the outside of the water cooler after having used the Cooler Clean sponge. Of course, it is important not only to disinfect the water cooler, but also to clean the outside, because it is proven that people will actually drink more water from a clean water cooler. Ben now uses a painter's brush to remove any dust from the grating on the back of the cooler, which will in fact enhance the cooler's cooling performance. When the 5-minute contact time is over, Ben flushes the water out of the water cooler using the blue tank. The blue tank is very convenient because it allows you, during a cleaning in place, to flush out the water while still being independent, because you will place the blue tank with the lid on it back into the rolling workshop and you will discharge of the water when you've left the client's premises. This prevents you from having to dispose of the water in the client's sink, or even worse, in the toilet. It's important that the cleaning in place can be carried out completely independently. Notice also that we have not taken out the reservoir during this cleaning in place, nor do we exchange it for another one. The cleaning in place, the cooler clean method, has been developed specifically to carry out the cleaning entirely on the client's premises. This also prevents the reservoir from becoming a moving part, which could eventually lead to leakage and extra visits that cannot be charged. Ben now dismantles the taps, screwing the top off and spraying it with a cooler clean spray. It's important that he does this because the taps are arguably the weakest link in the entire hygiene chain of the water cooler. He uses the pipe brush on the inside of the taps for a physical cleaning to remove any biofilm that may have grown there, placing the top back on the taps. The cooler clean spray actually ensures a lasting effect because it does not immediately dissolve after being applied. When the cooler is taken back into use, it is important that the water that passes through the taps dilutes the product and eventually removes it. Now the water bottle is placed back on the water cooler to fill up the reservoir in order to perform one clean rinse. This is important to remove the final residues of Cool Clean rinse from the reservoir after it has done its disinfecting work. As was said before, Cooler Clean is a tried and tested method which has been used in the field for the past 10 years. Our service company carries out over 60,000 of these cleanings in place each year, which allows us to build in further improvements to the method, and which now means that the method has gone under 10 minutes per water cooler. Ben now takes out the final flush from the water cooler. The blue tank has a 5-liter content, which means that it's easily suitable to empty the reservoir twice, a typical reservoir having a content of under 2 liters. Placing the lid back on the blue tank, Ben puts it in the rolling workshop, folds the canvas, the blue canvas, which actually is a clean area, places it back onto the rolling workshop, removes the blue gloves, and is finished with the cleaning method in under 10 minutes, and Ben's on his way to the next cleaning.